heard a lot about how Matt Luke has bolstered this O-line this year. What has he worked on with you specifically this offseason?
He stressed to everyone the importance of the details. That's been a big thing with him, that, everything, even if you don't get beat on a play doing something, like against a good enough player, you will get beat. And you can get away with it sometimes, but he stresses that, like, everything is important, and even if you get away with it, like, it still needs to be fixed. Then me personally, just been working on shooting my hands. That was the main thing I wanted to work on going into the season, is being more confident with my hands in pass pro. And then working, I guess, pad level and hat speed in the run.
Just what has Matt Luke's presence been on the sideline? Just sort of, what is it like to just sort of see what adjustments he's making, sort of the calls that he's pointing out to you?
Yeah, I think he does a good job of kind of showing you what you did wrong, but not condescending, but, still encouraging you with it. I really appreciate that on the sideline, because, you see people in games sometimes that are a little too negative, and it can kind of get in guys' heads. So I appreciate how, I guess, constructive his criticism is. And then, like I said, like, he stresses the details. Like, even on plays where we did really well, he'll come up and say that there was something that we could have done better. And I think everyone really appreciates that, and everyone's starting to see how important those little things are.
You guys, Coach Sweeney said you guys haven't given up any sacks so far this season. How have you guys kind of been able to maintain that level of production on the starting five offensive line side?
I know I keep going back to it. The details, like, it's everything. Feet position, when you strike with your hands, kind of knowing their blitzes going into each week with each team. Everyone's going to have something they do a little different, repping it a million times in practice, whether it's full speed, walk through, just repping those blitzes, having basically almost knowing what they're going to do before they do it. Like, that's the level of preparation that I feel like Coach Luke's instilled in us, and his level of fanaticism about making sure that we are ready for everything that's going to come is infectious. Like, I think everyone's very dialed in and week to week on what we need to work on, what we need to expect.
That kind of similarly with I think you guys have like at least 2 penalties on this for the starters. That kind of details are kind of the same thing, but you guys to avoid having a bunch of those penalties.
Yeah, same thing. Whether it's defenses making move calls, and we know that going into the week, and literally just working it in practice, having someone yelling move while we're trying to go through our drills, things like that. Just everything to stress the little details that, in the moment may seem small, but when you get out there on that big stage, like, they become very big and very noticeable.
How was the growth since, week 1 against Georgia, under 50 rushing yards, to the past 2 weeks of 4 touchdowns each game, and obviously just a lot more time in the pocket on offense for Cade? Just overall, like, smoother flowing offense. How's the growth at offensive line and that blocking, especially with, coaching kind of been through the past couple of weeks to lead to those performances?
Yeah, I think everyone in the Georgia game kind of saw that 11 people need to be doing their job every single play. And I kind of told people that going into App State week of, like, there was too many times where we had 10, and you can't win against great teams with 10 players. So I was telling everyone after App State that I was really hoping that people would see that when we have 11 guys doing their job the right way, myself included, because I wasn't perfect. I still have yet to be perfect. But when we have 11 guys doing the right thing, like, very good things happen for this offense. And I think everyone kind of now, like, we're starting to build confidence in ourselves, and people are seeing what it looks like when we do our jobs the right way.
Is there certain ways that you guys have noticed that, not all 11 guys are doing their job, in certain ways that, for yourself as well as, like, other linemen that have kind of been like, okay, this is how I can do that better and fill in that 11th man?
Yeah, I think preparation is a really big part of it. Like I said, knowing what they're going to do, knowing their tendencies, knowing what they like where, and knowing what matchups they like, and they try to, I guess, what guys they're confident in on the defensive side of the ball. That's very important in it, so you can kind of know what they're going to do, like I said, before the ball snapped, or at least have an idea. That tends to help you. And then, once again, just the details of your steps, like even the smallest thing, like taking, 6 inches too far of a step is, it can result between you touchdown block and you falling on your face. So I think the details and the preparation are really what it comes down to at the end of the day.
How do you see yourself as a leader?
Yeah, I think in the O-line room, Tristan and I try and lead. Like, everyone leads. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has something to say. And same thing in the offense. I think Tristan is very vocal. I I don't know that I'm as vocal as Tristan is, but I try and basically call people out when they're not doing what they do, and then also praise people when they do things right. I think that's important too, especially with younger guys. Not to just call them out, but also praise them when they do the right things. I think that that's very important, and I think that when I was a freshman or when I was younger, even now, like to have someone, say that you did well, but then also give you that constructive piece, kind of like I was saying on the sideline, like that constructive piece is very important, and I've been trying to be better about that.
I know Sweeney has talked about Senator Ryan Linthicum almost being the MVP of the team last week in the first 2 weeks. What have you seen from him, kind of letting him into the line and being kind of the new guy on that line?
Yeah, Coach Luke always says like he's the point guard for the O-line. Like he's basically kind of setting where we're going, and our communication relies off him, his points, his IDs, which way he's setting the protection and pass. Like that all kind of depends off him. So I think that he's incredibly important and valuable to this team, and just the level of pride that he takes in coming up to me after a play, same thing. Like even if we did well, he says, "Oh, I think I could have done this a little differently here. Like how would you have felt about that?" The level of detail and I guess pride that he takes in what he does, like, is very, very admirable, and I appreciate it, and I have a ton of respect for Ryan.
A lot's been made of the downfield blocking from your teammates, from the receivers and the tight ends. What's that effect on you guys? What's it like to see that? Because, Riley said that he really saw it being able to be a strength for you guys during fall camp.
Mm-hmm. Downfield blockings are what makes those would-be 5-10 yard runs touchdowns. Like we had the GT to the right versus NC State, and it was the one Cade broke free. And that was all because we knew that we were pulling for one of the guys that was over the wide receiver, so we told him that he could bypass, go up to the safety. He was blocking downfield, and that play that, if the safety was unblocked, would have been a 5-10 yard gain turned into a touchdown. So I think that the downfield blocking is a part that not everyone always looks immediately at when they watch TV, but that's what makes those medium to semi-long plays into huge plays.
For you guys as an offensive line, though, just to have that confidence that those guys are going to know it. And Jake Briningschool told us that it's the communication from you guys that helps them see, really what you need from them. Just how that all goes together.
Yeah, it definitely is. It all starts with us up front and kind of letting them know what we're going to do and what they need to do based off of it. And it gives us a lot of confidence. Like I said, you get 11 guys doing their job, whether it's, receivers running guys off in man or whether it's them blocking them downfield. Like, you get 11 guys doing your job, good things are going to happen for this team. And, we respect that they take pride in their blocking as well, because I know as a receiver, like, everyone likes the glitz and the glam of running the routes and catching the touchdowns, and the blocking isn't as great. But we respect the hell out of them for going out there and, putting their body on the line to block for us and get those big plays.
I think right now so many people are looking for, like, oh my gosh, what happened? Like, where was that? What was the switch that got flipped for this offense to be so explosive all of a sudden? And from talking to you guys, it sounds like it's all of these things have just kind of built on each other. What's it been like to feel that momentum shift, and when did you really start to see? Can you pinpoint a moment where you thought we could be really dangerous?
Yeah, I think even after the first game, like, we went through the film, and like I said, there'd be plays where it was, one more person does the right thing or two more guys do the right thing, and there was a big play there. And it's just getting those people on that same page that really matters. And, like, after that first week, like, everyone still had confidence going into the week because they know, hey, if we brush up on this and we work on these details and every play we have 11 guys doing the right thing, like, the plays are there, we just need to make them. And I think, like I said, after App State, guys started seeing that, and after this week, guys are seeing it more. So I'm really hoping that continues to be a point of emphasis, that every detail, every guy matters, even if, you sit and look at the play and you might not think it, like, that matters.
You mentioned kind of that GT pull on Cade's touchdown run, and on the latest episode of the Two Right Turns podcast, Tristan Lee was talking about how eyes naturally go to the guards and tackle pulling, but your movement on the 4-eye kind of created that seam and that hole. What does that say about the importance of details and cohesiveness from the O-line?
Yeah, I kind of laughed when I saw that clip, because that's, like, something that Coach Luke said to us in meetings is, like, he's told us that everyone wants to look at the pullers because they're expecting that huge kick-out block from the pulling guard or whoever the kick-out guy happens to be. But he said, he's like, that's where the space is created. And like I said, those details and what he emphasizes to us of, basically where space is on plays and just how important every block is. Like, I think that, that leads to success. Like, having that level of fanaticism about every little thing on every little play.
Any questions for Blake virtually? Anybody else in the room? All right, Blake, thanks for your time, man.
Thank you, guys.